All right, and next I want to work on this block quote. In the design, he has pretty quotes around it, and the text is much larger, and it's italic, of course. I'll select the text and see he has it set to 15 with a line height of 20. Come back to miscellaneous, block quote, and the font size is 15. The line height is 20 pixels, and we want to make sure that it is italic text. I'll save that and reload, and it appears that this is not taking effect. So let's see why. Inspect element, and we see we do have that on, but the reason it's not taking effect is because the paragraph is overriding the styling of the block quote. So if we want to target that directly, we say block quote, and then maybe comma, block quote P. And the reason I'm doing this is because that way we get the large font size, even if whoever adds more HTML forgets to use a paragraph tag within. So it's future-proof. Now I'll come back, reload, and there it's taking effect. Next, I would like to add these pretty quotes that you can see right here. So first step is select the color, BF, and then we're going to use CSS pseudo classes because these are stylistic. So we'll say block quote, and maybe only the block quote within the main section, because if you added a blog later, they don't want those quotes with every block quote. And with that in mind, I will take all of this out and bring it into the main section like so. Now I will make a declaration for before. Content will be, for now, a simple double quote. Let's try that out, refresh, and to see that it's working, I'll change it to just lots of letters. And now I'm seeing that it's not coming up. So that means there is a problem and we get to debug together. I'm going to remove main and let's see if it's working that way. And it is. So that means there's some problem. Shouldn't this block quote be a child of main? Well, it should. Maybe we made a mistake, and this is why you validate. So we can validate or first see if we can figure it out on our own. Here's our main section. So then we have a grid 9. Then we have another grid 9. But then we have this closing div, so it looks like we accidentally closed the main section too early. So we will indent this, and now we have just done a little bit of debugging, and hopefully we fixed it. And if I reload, now it's showing up. Good. So let's change this to a double quote. And can you see that it's showing up right there? Let's style it though, and make it really big like so. So I'm going to select this text and see what he has. He has it 40 pixels tall, font size, 40 pixels, color, that shade of gray. Let's try it again. Good. I want to make the font style italic as well. And now we can see it's not quite the same as his. And we can look for pretty quotes. So I'm going to search for pretty quotes HTML. So we'll check this out. And here we have some options here. And what we need are those pretty quotes. So I will copy that and come back and paste that in here instead. And now we have a curly quote is what you would call it. And now that's looking a lot better. We need to do the same thing after it as well. So main block quote after, and we're going to switch to the closing curly quote. Next, because I don't want to duplicate, I'm going to adjust this to main block quote before, and then do the same thing after. That way I can group all of this styling into one, and I don't have to repeat myself, because that can be a big pain if I need to make adjustments, and it's also not a good practice. There we go. So let's try this again, reload, looking better. But we know that this should be put on the right, as you can see right here. So let's adjust the float, right. Reload, there we go. Let's come back and see what else we can do. The color should be different. It's not that grayish color. It looks like he's using almost black. Notice the subtlety in different colors here. So I'll set the color of all text within block quotes at the top, right here, to that value. Reload, that's looking better. And if I zoom out, I'll get a better angle, and I'm going to go back and forth. It looks like the beginning quote is right before the text. It's not on its own line, and the same thing for the closing quote, but that's not what we have. Now, the reason this is happening is because we're applying this content before the block quote, but not before the paragraph, so that's where you're getting that spacing. So one way we can fix this is to apply this before the first paragraph. If I just do this, what it's going to do is apply this content before every single paragraph. And if you have multiple paragraphs within a block quote, that's going to look really odd. So instead, I'm going to limit this to the first paragraph. And that way, this styling only gets applied. However, in this case, this is the closing. So I'm going to change that to last and this one to first child. Get the first paragraph within the block quote and add it. And that way, it should look a lot better.